Take a look at this picture. What do you see? Yes, there's a giant inflatable rat, and yes, there are only 8 people. One of them may be a passerby, but what you're really seeing is the WNBA, as a league, jumping the shark, the moment where they officially lost the plot. You see, after being offered salaries they could only have dreamed of 2 years ago, they've now blown past the CBA deadline and are dead set on holding out for more, claiming they're not being paid what they're owed. Fans and commentators, who were generally supportive of them getting a big raise, have turned on them. Casual sports fans, quick to point out the league hasn't turned a profit in 3 decades, are laughing in disbelief. And that's because they know the truth. The players, by threatening to cancel the 2026 season, are blowing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to grow the game for generations to come. But what if I told you they've already blown it? And what if I told you that Caitlin Clark, through the massive attention she's brought to the WNBA in just 2 seasons, has exposed the league's ceiling? And that the CBA negotiation and what happens over the next few months, it actually doesn't really matter. The future is set in stone, and it will take a miracle to change course. This video is all about skipping past the stages of grief, the anger and depression that many Caitlin Clark fans have over what could have been. Today, we skip ahead to acceptance. We have to, because things aren't changing. Stick with me for a few minutes and you'll see what I mean. Okay, to steal a joke from Pete Davidson, WNBA fans before Caitlin Clark were like the Marines. The few, the proud. The league has grown slowly and steadily since 2020, but never enough to become profitable. It was losing 8 figures every single year, propped up by owners who were willing to subsidize it with the hope that someday, it would get off the NBA's training wheels. And to become profitable, the WNBA needed one thing above all else: casual fans. Not just the diehards who showed up every year. They needed the people who watch NFL on Sundays and March Madness in March and basically nothing else. The holy grail of sports viewership: casual fans with disposable income and low commitment requirements. That was the opportunity the WNBA had been chasing for 27 years. And then, in April 2024, Caitlin Clark entered the league, and we all know what happened next. WNBA viewership rose 170% from 2023. The Fever went from averaging 4,000 fans per home game to selling out every single night. They outdrew the NBA's Pacers, who shared the same arena. Her rookie playoff game against the Connecticut Sun drew 2.5 million viewers. That became the most watched WNBA playoff game ever on ESPN. Even the finals that year couldn't touch it. Game 5 between the Liberty and Lynx peaked at 2.15 million viewers, nearly 500,000 short. The league signed a media rights deal mid-season for $2.2 billion, more than tripling the previous deal. Again, the new fans were people like me, who couldn't name 5 WNBA players before 2024, but suddenly found themselves setting reminders for Fever games. The players, well, they smelled the Benjamins and opted out of the CBA early to get their piece of the much bigger pie, and honestly, nobody had a problem with that. It was a feel-good story and should have been one of the most transformative moments in women's sports history. Mainstream attention, casual fan engagement, real money. But here's the flip side of the Caitlin Clark effect nobody saw coming. Instead of embracing the surge in attention, instead of protecting their golden goose and converting casual fans into long-term supporters, segments of the league, players, media, executives, did something remarkable. They fought it. The whole thing, funny enough, reminds me a lot of the Black Eyed Peas. Hear me out. Before 2002, the Black Eyed Peas were a respected, conscious hip-hop group. They had the street cred, the critics loved them, but they weren't filling stadiums. Then they added Fergie. Almost overnight, they went from an underground act to the biggest pop group on earth. They traded backpack rap for boom boom pow and started selling out arenas globally. But here's the catch. The original pure hip-hop fans hated it. They despised the new direction. They looked at the millions of new fans screaming the lyrics and said, "You aren't real fans, you don't respect the culture, you're just here for the pop star." The WNBA just had its Fergie moment. Caitlin Clark was the pop crossover event that finally filled the seats. But instead of celebrating the sold-out tour, the league's original fans, and even the league itself, spent the entire year mad that the new audience didn't know the lyrics to the deep cuts from 1996. Here's the thing though, The Black Eyed Peas took the money, rode the wave, and became one of the biggest acts in history. The WNBA had the same choice: embrace their Fergie moment and use it to build something bigger. They didn't. And it wasn't just the fans and the players. It felt like much of the WNBA ecosystem went out of its way to make it seem like Caitlyn wasn't the catalyst for the league's rapid growth. ESPN, how do I say it, creatively presented data to accomplish this. After the 2025 WNBA draft, they claimed in big, bold numbers that draft viewership was up 119%. But in the fine print, they're comparing to 2023, not 2024. Because if they actually compared to 2024, the year Caitlin Clark was drafted, they'd have to admit the ugly truth. Viewership didn't go up. It actually dropped 49%. Half the audience, gone. They did the same thing for the All-Star Game, and then they did it again with March Madness. It's a pattern. And when you add it all up, eventually the people who wanted to support you stop supporting you. And that's why when it comes to the CBA negotiations, the WNBA players don't have the kind of public support they think they should. They've pushed away new fans, and now they've overplayed their hands to the point where the most supportive casual fans and commentators are shaking their heads. The league has been fair. They've offered them 4 times their salaries despite never earning a profit. The players' latest offer, according to the league, would have put them $700 million in the red over the next few years. Now we're past the CBA deadline and the players seem intent on striking with what appears to be a total disregard for everything I've just talked about. And that brings us to the truth and how Caitlin Clark exposed the WNBA's ceiling. Look, I don't think the league is going to fail. I don't think it's going to collapse. But I think this whole Caitlin Clark phenomenon and the WNBA ecosystem's reaction to it has exposed something that was always there, a ceiling. Here's what I mean. The league needed mainstream appeal to become financially viable, to get rid of the NBA training wheels, to stand on its own 2 feet. But they didn't really want mainstream attention. They wanted mainstream acceptance and support. There's a difference. Mainstream attention means dealing with harsh criticism. It means casual fans who say awful things on social media. It means players getting scrutinized, criticized, and mocked. It means discourse that's tribal, passionate, and yes, sometimes crosses the line. Go look at NFL Twitter during any given Sunday. People are calling Patrick Mahomes every name in the book. Tom Brady was called a cheater for 20 years. Peyton Manning was called a choker. LeBron James has been scrutinized at a level that would break most people. The WNBA wanted the money, the ratings, and the cultural relevance that comes with mainstream sports, but they also wanted everyone to be nice, measured, and appropriately appreciative of all players equally. And that was never going to happen. And that's the ceiling. It's self-imposed. The WNBA could have accepted mainstream sports culture, the good and the bad, and used Caitlyn's momentum to grow the entire league to levels they'd never seen. Instead, they rejected it. They policed language, they attacked fans, they minimized Caitlyn's impact. They created an environment where casual viewers felt unwelcome. Caitlin Clark didn't create this ceiling. She just helped them reach it faster. And now, the paradox that I think we all need to accept. Millions of new fans who love Caitlin, but simultaneously don't support the league. As long as Caitlin is playing, casual fans will show up, and the league will have to keep dealing with real sports fans. They will complain, they will clap back. It will continue to be Caitlin versus the world. The cycle will repeat. Unless there's a cultural change in how the league, players, and media approach Caitlin's fans, the WNBA's ceiling is Caitlin's ceiling. Caitlin didn't draw it up this way. She simply exposed it.